Welcome back into 316 Soccer Show, coming to you live from here at Emerson Biggins West. Same three, but new one has joined us. Wings defender / midfielder Kevin Ten Eyck has joined us. Kevin, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How you guys doing?
Good. So now, quick question: Is Cliff's name for that game-winning goal the flying side volley saucer kick? Is that appropriate? Is that all right with you?
It's sufficient, yeah.
Is it a good name for it?
It works for me. I mean, I don't really know exactly what I did. I just kicked it and it went in. So.
We'll get to that more in a little bit. Take us through, real quick, growing up in Wichita, the youth clubs you played for here in Wichita, and what took you to Friends, then to the Wings, just all the, kind of the notable clubs you played for as a youth here in Wichita.
Basically, growing up, I played for, we started out as a drillers, back in, we were tiny, and then we slowly changed Wichita Spirit. We joined Air Capital Soccer Club, and then we broke off on our own, and we were 2-time state champs, couple runner-up finishes, third-place finishes, and then it's pretty funny because I had Eddie Henderson as a coach. He's probably one of the best coaches I've ever had, and he was great at the time, like the age that we were at, too.
I agree with that. I trained with Eddie a little bit myself, and Eddie's a great trainer and great guy. You really want to play hard for him.
Are you young enough to have trained with Eddie? Are you sure? You?
Me? Am I old enough to have trained?
No, are you young enough?
I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah, from later on. When Eddie is probably you 13, 14, 15, 16. Don't let the hairline fool you, folks.
Anyways, yeah, Eddie made soccer fun and a learning experience at the same time, especially, at that age, you need that. And then after that, we had some great coaches after that, and Kevin Q was our coach, and actually LeBaron Holman was my coach for a season. So I was kind of familiar with LeBaron, before the tryouts and everything. But actually, out of high school, I went to Missouri State, and I played there for a semester. I ended up not really liking the coach and the school that much, so that's why I transferred back here to Wichita, and I played at Friends University for 3 years. So me and Cliff had a couple run-ins.
That's actually one of my questions. You guys saw each other a few times,
and I've talked about that on other.
Oh yeah. How many goals did he score on you?
I lost count. They all scored 2.
None.
Do you remember?
I had 2.
He has 2?
Okay, he knows.
You do know.
I'm trying to remember. Did you score in the game where we were up 2-0 and then you guys came back and beat us?
I think
Alex may have scored in that game.
The first game, what did we win? 2-0 when our guy broke his leg on that final shot of the game with a minute left. I think we won 2-0.
Was that the 3-2?
I think that was 2-0 the first game. The second game was we won 2-1, and that's when I scored in overtime. And actually scored the first
that was
goal,
at your
too.
place.
Yeah.
Can't forget that game. Was that a sudden death overtime?
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
always is.
He was the golden goal. Actually, not now, right?
Yeah, it still is.
It is now. It still is. Okay, so in college, that's right. I came to one at Newman this year. So you had quite a few overtime games this year too.
After Friends, did you try to play professional soccer immediately, or did you go elsewhere? Did you try other things? What did you do immediately out of college?
Right out of college, the Kansas City Wizards had their open tryouts, and I went up there and I went through the whole tryout period, and I got asked back to go train with the first team, and I went through a weekend of that, but I didn't really do that well, so I never got asked back, and I honestly kind of gave up on playing professional soccer. I mean, I regretted it at that time, not trying to go play, USL or something to that, or even try to go another team. But then, luckily, the Wings came back here, and then here I am now.
That's a good point that he makes about regretting it. There's so many people that never.
But did you ever play PDL over the summer?
No.
Okay. So
I never did anything over the summer. It was at Friends, we had open field type stuff like that, but that was it.
Because I always try to send my top players to go play PDL as much as they can, so they're getting that summer experience so they're playing on a year-round basis. He brings up a great point. We talked to Eddie before, and he talked about being proud. He felt like a dad with some of these guys out there that he's coached. But you look at the coaches that he's had over the years, some of the former Wings players that have contributed to the soccer community here over the years, and that's something more and more. I mean, the only ones left are of course, the ones that are playing with the Wings now, the old timers, which are my young guys to me. Brian Cushing, Larry, Jamie, then you also have Casey, and who's not playing this year, but Chris Lemons, guys from an earlier era of Wichita youth soccer that are still coaching here now. But other than that, most of the players have moved on. You have Kevin Cooley and myself in town, and then this group here.
Both college coaches.
College coaches now. But during that period of time, we had a period of time where there were a lot of people here because the Wings were here and they were coaching in the youth organizations. And our youth soccer developed so much better during that period. And then we've had this period of time here with no Wings team, and it's really kind of slowed down and slimmed down. And the local town has got thinner and thinner and thinner in terms of big numbers, total quality. But he came out with a great group of players that had great background in the game.
And phenomenal men too. I mean, all three of those guys, Kevin, LeBaron, Eddie, they're great people.
Fantastic.
And that shows in what I feel like when Kevin, he gets the red, turns around, walks off. There isn't any run over to the official. We don't have a Terminesi moment where we've got to poke people in the face or find Brian Perez to smack him real quick.
We'll get to that.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's a good character, and maybe that's a direct result of that.
Yeah, my question is about the game-winning goal at the Sprint Center in Missouri. Did you know where the goal was, or did you just turn and put a boot on it and hope it was near the goal?
Yeah, basically. I knew.
Because as we were talking about before, you made your run from the opposite side of the pitch all the way around across the goal, and then flying side volley saucer kicked it. So were you aware of where you were?
Yeah, well, I knew I wasn't going to be able to bring the ball down because I'm pretty sure a couple guys were collapsing down on me, and I just thought to myself, I was like, I'm just going to try to put this on target, and it went inside netting, so I was pretty happy.
There was 3 guys standing watching you win the ball. One guy kind of tracked, one guy stepped in, but the guy behind you just stopped and watched the ball shoot straight up in the air. The turf kind of, I don't know, prepared him for the saucer. What, hovered it? If we're going to say saucer, let's say hover. So the ball hovers above you and you do a saucer. But it was have you seen the replay of that in the archive? It was well taken. You tracked it the whole time. Your eyes were on it. It was very, very difficult. At first, I thought there was a little bit of luck involved in live action, and there is to have the ball there, but you played it well. And we've seen so much acrobatic stuff out of Kevin lately. Every time we turn around.
Yeah, he's getting a little happy sometimes.
Yeah, after the saucer goal, game-winning goal, we are seeing
a little
that's all right, though. It's
enthusiastic, but we need to see that. It's still good.
Yeah. He's trying to win the ball in the air, and he's looking to play it, not just go up and win it. And bikes and additional saucers, I guess, at this point. So we keep naming Kevin Ten Eyck volley.
We'll just call it the Kevin Ten Eyck volley. Okay,
there you go.
So in the last game against Milwaukee, you were involved in one of the altercations, and then your good friend Alex Mosley was too, and he and Giuliano Oliviero almost went blows there. Has he been like that in the past? Is he that kind of player, or was he just especially mad then?
It was actually pretty funny. After the game, there's a school we play up that's in Salina, Kansas Wesleyan, and our senior year in our final game of the season, he put one of their guys in a headlock, and he comes off the field. He's like, man, I almost pulled a K-dub and put that guy in a headlock. And then I realized what was happening. I had to let go, put my hands up.
Yeah, video shows that as well, right?
Because Oliviero grabs him, and then he comes in like this, and then he just kind of half hugs him, then goes like this.
He had his entire arm around the back of his head and then took a pass. Yeah. But it was a good pass because that is a straight red.
That's a good decision,
we were inches and moments away. It was a headlock away from punches, and we don't want to see that. We don't want games to end like that. The thing about that game is, as bad as it was at the end of the game, how classy was it that the guys went up, everybody shook hands, smacked each other on the head.
You say a headlock? Well, I don't know. I think Kevin was in a pretty good headlock.
How's he
maybe a suplex?
What it looked like? How's he put you in a headlock, and then when you were down? Blake and I have analyzed this video very closely, and it looks like there was a kick. But, I don't know, you said you didn't really feel anything on the ground.
Yeah, at that point, there was just so much going on. It was just a blur to me, and all I knew is there's probably going to be like 4 or 5 other guys around me, so I was just trying to protect myself.
Well, when you got up, you were definitely wobbling a little bit when the trainers got you up.
Yeah.
Were you hurting, or was there some...
There was a little bit of acting in there. I knew I was in trouble, so I was going to at least try to get it to make it even.
And if there isn't, multiple moments like we had prior to that, maybe we don't get straight red there. Maybe you get blue and a yellow, or I don't know. It's hard to go back, but the game, what happened prior to that definitely made the straight red a little bit more. Now, we do have video, and even though you say it may not have hurt you and there was a little acting involved, you did get kicked in the back of the head, and the intent is what we're talking about, and that's horrible. We don't want to see guys getting kicked in the back of the head. Guys down on the ground, Cliff,
and it doesn't help with the fans. I've heard a lot of feedback from people with the game, and a lot of people are very disgusted with the way the game progressed and with the fights that took place. They don't come to soccer games to see that. They come to, they go to hockey games to see that, and they're very disappointed. The Wichita soccer community is pretty knowledgeable about the game. They want to see a good quality game played. They want to see good competition. They don't have any problem with physical play, hard play, winning the ball. but they don't want to see it break down where they don't want to bring their kids to the game because it's a family game.
We don't have a problem with the 3-point loss to Milwaukee if the guys play 100% all the entire game. Show up, play, be classy, play to your ability, don't quit,
so my
no matter
point is,
what.
we kind of chuckle about it here. We're going to give you a hard time, but we don't want to see games degenerate into that kind of level of play.
So Cliff's saying don't do that anymore, I guess.
Well, that blue-collar attitude, I mean, they showed up, they took us for granted.
And there's a certain point where you have to protect yourself no matter what.
Yeah.
And if certain things are occurring, I'm not out on the field. I don't know all the things that happened. I don't know what shots or cheap shots may have been taken. You have to take care of yourself out there. And I'd be lying if I said I hadn't been in similar situations in games and we didn't have bad situations occur. But I still think that, in general, we want to not have too much of this.
How
happen.
about in Wichita history, the Ralph Black Kung Fu fighting game?
Well, you go back to Tino Lidieri, the goalkeeper with the Parrots, and the incident with Bill Kentling. You can go back. There's always things here and there. In fact, Roy Turner originally brought in Greg Willen and Tony Pesnecker. Tony came out a lot of hockey, and Greg Willen was just a great guy. But he brought them in.
Kid danger.
They brought him in deliberately to try to be able to stand up to the physical side of the game. Because when I played Wichita, we had a reputation not being able to play up to the physical, and I want to talk about that because Milwaukee's been accused of that. And I had a discussion with Rossi, the referee, and he kind of filled me in on some of the things that were going on with Milwaukee, and I think it's kind of important in this context. But we brought in players deliberately to firm up our ability to compete with the St. Louis's that we kept losing in the semifinals. So it's part of the game to that extent.
So, one last thing. Due to this 3-game series and the fact that you have to play Milwaukee 7 times a year, would you consider it a rivalry already?
Oh, definitely. I mean, they're one of the best teams in our division, and we have to compete against them. And, you don't want to lose. You can't lose games within your division to, make the playoff push. But, I mean, every game we played them, it's been close except for, maybe one. And,
And that game still was close late. They scored two 3-point goals on when you guys were on 6th attacker. So it was a little bit larger than it actually was.
Yeah, so, I mean, you never want to lose any games, especially when you're playing that close. Obviously tempers are going to flare. You get in there, you want to battle, you want to win. We're all competitors, we're all athletes. Nobody wants to lose. So you're going to go out there and you're going to try to do whatever you can do, whether, obviously, you're not going to go out there and try to get in a fight or hurt somebody. But
do you feel like you're getting a little bit of added pressure from the defensive end? You're drawing the guy that their top defenders. Now that you look at the MISL standings, or you look at the headline, Kevin Ten Eyck's name's been in it 2 or 3 times in the last couple Wichita wins. So do you feel like you're getting played a little bit tighter and guys are taking account for you and maybe a little bit more physical as we saw Thursday night?
I don't think so. I really haven't noticed that. I mean, but then again, at the beginning of the season, I'm trying to learn right off the bat, being a rookie to the indoor soccer. I'm trying to learn everything that's happening, so I didn't really catch on to that kind of things. But, I mean, I don't think so. I mean,
you seem to be getting forward. Are you playing more of a midfield role? Is that your position? And we talked earlier. Cliff said you're getting forward, but at the beginning of the year we saw him in defense all the time, right? And now he's forward. Is that your deal? You're playing the forward, or you're playing the midfield?
Well, since we've had so many injuries, I've had to move up to midfield. I've actually last game I played in the midfield, and I was switching with Brian Perez. And then there at the end when Eddie went out with his foot injury, we had a bump Cream and Jamar up top, and then they're trying to shut down Jamar. So I actually said something to Baron hey, let me play up top, let Jamar run out of the midfield so he has more space and he can create things. Since he's a great player and he can, he's had a lot of assists this season. So,
Kevin Ten Eyck, thanks for joining us here. We're going to take another break and be right back with Brian Perez here on 316 Soccer Show.